Hey everybody, BigSexy commentary back here with Jomez Productions for the back nine from round one of the Texas State Championships.
Yeah, we got a great card, and we got some great shooting so far in the front nine, so back nine should lend itself to some awesome play.
All right, hole 10. Pretty straightforward other than its blind shot off the tee.
Yeah, you can't see it. You just have that one tree there that kind of gives you a guide that the basket's somewhere over there.
Yep.
That's really the only thing you can see over there, but it's a good gauge. It's about 35 feet from the basket.
Yep, I'm going X-Cal here, just playing for the skip mostly. Try to go right at the tree and do one of those.
Oh, wow, that checked up real quick.
Yeah.
That's what you want. That's pro backspin right there.
What'd you throw?
I threw a Brinster Destroyer, which is, I think I use it for similar shots as you use your X-Cal.
Yeah, definitely.
And kind of was a little bit wider than I wanted. Just happened to get underneath those limbs just enough to get to the basket unobstructed.
Chris trying to get a turnover here, but not quite getting as much turn as he hoped for.
Yeah, you know, the wind out on this course really starts picking up about now, I feel like.
Yes.
This is when things start getting trickier, and a turnover into that kind of wind just is a little course maintenance there. Yeah, it's not quite as easy as just throwing a hyzer.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's got that distance. I wonder if that's his play next time we play out there.
Yeah, to go the other way with the backhand hyzer or to go sidearm?
Sidearm.
Because there's also a backhand hyzer window.
Yeah, this hole was the only hole. I just talked to Drew Gibson about it. This is the only hole he threw a sidearm. He tries not to throw sidearm anymore. So I feel like the sidearm is the preferred route.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Almost for Chris there.
Even for players who aren't comfortable with throwing a sidearm.
Yeah, it's wide open, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, about 27 feet here.
Solid putt.
Yeah, good tournament putt. Anything between the 25 and 32 foot range inside the tournament, inside the circle is
a good get.
Yeah. That's a good get too.
Yeah, I was happy, man. Coming off the ace, sometimes you can kind of do something really stupid on the very next hole.
Right.
So I was happy to walk up there and see that I had a tap in to get a birdie following up that hole in one.
One of the better 6-foot putts I've seen on that hole.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So 2 for me, 2 for Germ. We got some hot rounds brewing here.
Yeah, everything's shaping up, and I feel like Tanner's going to come around here. Hopefully, that's what I'm thinking. This type of golf really suits his game. And,
yep.
And he just kind of had a little slow start, but Chris and you and I are definitely pushing each other at this point.
Here we got this big, long, out-of-bounds sand trap, and then obviously quite a bit of water.
Yeah, this is a beautiful hole. Absolutely beautiful. From the tee pad, it's just a fun shot to throw.
Absolutely. I'm going Destroyer here, just hoping to put it up high and let it kind of swing over.
Out of your hand, I really liked it. It just didn't swing.
I thought so too. It went right in the out of bounds, which I really didn't even think about. Right. And I find that when that happens to me, I'm incredulous. But when it happens to other people, I sort of feel like I'm like, come on, dude. So I'm guessing you were giving me a little bit of a come on, dude, when I was sitting there going, how did that go in the sand? What the? How?
Maybe a bit of that. I just think that you maybe didn't really feel a little bit of a left to right crosswind that just kind of smashed it down.
Yeah, every practice round was the opposite wind. Chris with the little straighter line, obviously Germs with the super straight line, he got it right up there.
Yeah, I saw yours, and I didn't really want to mess with the swing, so I took a straighter Thunderbird and just kept it out of the wind, threw it low, and happened to throw a real nice shot just right at the basket, almost hit the pole.
We got a fun hole for lefties. They get to do a little crowd pleaser out here over the water.
And just got it a bit higher than I'm sure he wanted, and that ended up swinging out there pretty far to the right.
He needed to please the crowd more.
Yeah, that needed to be a lot more pleasing.
Yeah, get it over the water.
I'm sure he was looking for something that he was more pleased with as well.
Yeah, so I really wanted to make this because I was pretty annoyed with myself, but had good height, but didn't quite catch the line. I mean,
from that distance to keep that line, that plane, the nose up like that the whole way. Was real impressive.
That was a nice look too.
Yeah, 2 great bids from outside 70.
Nice birdie. That's a good one to get for sure. One of those nice to get again, like we were talking about in the front nine.
Sure.
Chris from probably 25, and he's had a few not very Chris-like putts lately. I didn't really realize it during the round as much, but now that I'm watching it, he had some kind of struggles there.
I'm not used to seeing that. I mean, he is human, but it is always surprising to see him miss putts, just because it's just like watching Ricky miss putts.
Yeah, you think of him as such a solid putter, absolutely.
Right. I mean, that's one of the reasons he's gone from a relatively brand new player to upper 1020s so quick, is that he is so solid on the greens.
I mean, he's probably on the cusp of being a top 10 rated player in the world, right?
Yeah, he's right around the corner.
It's pretty incredible.
And if he continues this improvement, then he'll be 1030.
I would not be surprised
by year's end.
Yeah. All right, hole 12. This is a pretty tough one. So much water in play.
Yeah, it's not that far. It's two relatively short golf shot distance.
Yep.
You really want to break the hole up into two shots.
Yep.
And getting a little bit wide there, but a nice little kick to keep me back in the fairway.
Yeah.
The thing that makes this hole really tricky in my eyes is that the water is completely blind except for that water right there. That one you can see.
Holy moly.
One of the worst breaks you could really get.
Yeah. So was he going roller or air? Probably air.
I think
right?
he was just playing way out wide and just happened to just catch the wrong side of the tree.
Something you never in a million years would think could happen.
Yeah, that was just, he came back off that tree good 60-something feet.
Yeah, and right in the water. Insult to injury.
And not only that, it's on a side hill, so it doesn't even really have a good run up.
Yep. So that forehand's out over the water right now, and then coming back nicely to get inbounds. I was pretty happy.
But yeah, you can't see that water up there, so it really becomes tricky. How much do you want to push it?
Yep. This was a crush.
Yeah, we all kind of thought Chris was going to re-tee because he'd have a better line. He really only was getting about 7 or 8 feet of advancement. Mm-hmm. But I think he liked the fact that there was no trees in the way.
Yeah.
And this one was just a big wide hyzer, or just throw it straight at a tree and go in the water.
Oh man,
that's the second time that happened to me that round.
Yeah, that little bit of early release, because I'm sure you wanted that 40 feet high.
Oh, absolutely. I wanted to keep that thing high and wide, and it just came out of my hand way early. No excuse for that.
That is ideal. Incredible shot.
Yeah, he's at the 98% putt range probably.
Yes.
At least.
So I'm going over the water again here, just trying to spike it in, get down on the green. I was feeling quite a bit of wind on that shot.
Mm-hmm. You want to keep it as low as you can in the wind, of course, and going over the water might make you a little more hesitant to really push it as wide as you might normally like.
Yes. So Chris kind of got away from him a little bit. That same wind probably got to him, flipping that putter over more than he hoped to.
That's the mistake to make, though.
Definitely.
If you're going to make a mistake on one side or the other, that's the way to go. I was trying to make that one just to kind of make up for the boneheaded mistake I'd made before. Mm-hmm. This is not the putt you want for your par, though, or for your bogey. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, if the early tree kick out of bounds.
Oh, man. Tough hole for sure for him. I had a little bit of headwind here. I tried to just jam the putt. Didn't quite work out for me. I was pretty frustrated to drop one from 20 feet.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic for sure. That's a Nate Sexton all-dayer.
You would hope.
Yep.
But the wind can do crazy things.
So we got a straight on this hole. We got a small straight.
Yeah, a rainbow.
Yep. Tanner played the hole perfectly, played it out wide, avoided the trees and the OB.
Yep.
And just a perfect lefty sidearm to the pin and hit the pole. That's a great 3 there.
Yeah. I made the par, Germ with a little bit of a miscue to get a bogey, and Chris with the worst break of all time, maybe close to. I mean, not even really a break, but just a crazy circumstance to hit that tree and end up out of bounds.
Yeah, you don't really draw it up that way. You don't even think of it as even being an impossibility.
No, not at all.
You can see going in the water, but maybe not
that water.
7 feet off
Not
the tee.
that water. Yeah. 315 here, path on the right, OB. You kind of have your option. You go out wide with the forehand or the lefty, or you can go over the hill with the backhand mid-range.
I love this course design. This course is just so much fun to play. And you have no idea where that basket is really, because I mean you have an idea, but that mound perfectly covers the entire gap, and you really have to trust what you're gonna do here. And if you go this shot, you have to get underneath those limbs right there, just like that, and avoid those trees out wide.
Yeah, it's a good par 3 though. I mean, it's tough, just like you're saying, obscured, so it's fun.
And that one I was just trying to keep it under the limbs, which I did. However, Did not avoid the 4-tree cluster that's
We heard that
in
from
the way.
the tee, that big crack when you hit that tree, so we knew something bad had happened.
Yeah. Unless it was somebody's head next to the basket, that was not going to be good.
Ooh, nice, Chris.
Oh,
Perfect.
Nice dual shot tracker. I don't know if I've seen that one yet. That's sweet.
Yeah, that was great. Not quite online, but not a bad bid from that distance. A little high from Tanner.
Yeah, his putt has a lot of up to down motion, and that one just stayed up. That kind of surprised me. I really was waiting for that disc to kind of just drop. I thought it was going to. It looked like a good stroke out of his hand.
Yeah, definitely.
I have to say that missing this hole, compounded with the boneheaded mistake I made in my second shot, last one, taking a bogey.
Yeah.
Felt like a 3-stroke differential from where I wanted to be.
Yep.
And actually, this par felt more like a bogey in my head.
Yep.
I was pretty frustrated at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely a hole that plays. Your skill set is perfect. I mean, getting that forehand around is going to look good.
Hole 14 is a fantastic par 4 with 2 different options on the tee in terms of direction. You can go with a big hyzer or the big turnover, roll or air shot. That all works, but it's a lot of ground to cover, and it's a great 2-shot hole.
Yeah, it finishes uphill. You got the path OB on the right. The little creek on the left is actually casual, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, it's casual, but you don't want to be in it.
No, you don't.
And this was Nate unleashing the fury here.
Yeah, I got all this one.
Yeah, we shot tracked that to about 730 feet.
Maybe 230 less than that. I think it was in the neighborhood of 500. It was about as good as I can throw a disc.
Yeah, and we had a right to left crosswind here, which is the reason I think Chris decides to go hyzer. Maybe that's what he was originally intending to do, but that was a safe play. Kind of push it out towards the sidewalk, but have the wind swing it back in.
Yeah, it was better wind for a hyzer, but obviously a hyzer doesn't quite have the distance potential of the turnover.
And if you're going to be a lefty or righty on this hole, I'd say I'd choose being a lefty.
Just so you can have this wide open
Nothing in the way crush hyzer. I mean,
yep.
And Tanner's got a ton of distance, as you guys can see.
Yep.
And that's just, there's nothing in the way there.
It's a good spot.
Right. And I lined up roller in practice, and I was pretty much committed, but I was going out to the right side before, but with this wind and trying to Thunderbird again, just didn't quite get it to stand up.
But that's still not bad.
No, it avoided all the trees, and I still got over 360 feet off the tee.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, you're right next to Tanner, and he crushed his.
Yeah.
So you're not in a bad place at all. I'd say 400.
Yeah, probably. That's probably not a bad guesstimate in distance. And that's
like he kind of slipped or something on that.
Yeah, well, I was standing next to him, and the disc came out, and it was fluttering a lot. And so I think that he just had a misrelease there.
Yeah. It'll happen to the best of us.
Yeah.
Chris, I thought this looked good, but the skip was so much bigger than I expected.
Yeah, it almost looked like it could have even jumped in there for 2 from where we were. We couldn't quite tell how short it was.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think it was about 400 off the tee, because I feel like this was about a 400-foot shot
This
here.
was a good shot, man. At least over 350 for sure, maybe 400. You really got it low and just perfect line.
Yeah, that was a good feel. I mean, after those last 2 holes, bogey, par on a hole I really want to birdie.
Yep.
That felt nice to have a really good, clean shot.
Yep. I felt really good about this one, too. Just a little flex shot.
I was surprised. It looked like you put so little effort into it, man. I was thinking there's no way it's going to get there, but with that little bit of flex, it just held over and got all the way there.
Yeah, I was happy. The way the trees were, I didn't really have a hyzer play, so I had to kind of go with that over the top.
And as soft as you threw it, I really think that you may have thrown it over 730 feet.
Maybe you are right, man. Maybe I don't know my own strength. Chris with a little bit of a offline putt.
That's just a... Wow, that camera angle makes that putt look a lot better than it was. I caught most of the left side of the basket.
They say the camera adds 2 chains, dude.
Oh, man. Well, your tap-in was dead center, and those are 2 good birdies.
Yeah.
I like that this hole is, regardless of throwing 730 feet or not off the tee pad, it requires 2 good shots.
Definitely. I mean, any par 4 that's not downhill, that's over 800 feet, I mean, especially if there's trees,
you have to earn it.
That's a pro par 4. Because there's not a lot of there's not a lot of people in disc golf that even have the potential to be on that green in 2 shots.
And here, wow, what an interesting par 4 we have here. This is unique. I don't know if I've really ever played anything quite like this.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, a little bit shorter, but way skinnier. You got the path, and you got obviously water right, and there's 2 different pockets of water that go through the middle of the fairway.
And that cart path is so undulating, so there's so much movement on it that it's really tricky.
Yes.
And one thing you really can't see here so much is how much of a left to right wind we have.
That skip kind of shows you it, because as soon as that disc hopped up, it didn't even move because that wind just pushes it back. So you had to throw this super wide.
Real wide, and hopefully get a good skip and
good skip.
And I didn't even realize how close I came to the curb there.
There's a curb there.
Scary. Had to hit that curb, I would have been back 300 feet.
Yes, that would be very unfortunate.
That was over OB the whole way. And Chris just taking a little line from Nate, going around those trees.
Perfect.
Yep, right where you want to be on the hillside, on the other side of that little first water pocket.
Yep.
And Tanner just gets this one. Maybe
the wind gets under it.
Bit higher than he wanted with that wind, and not a great skip down there, and he just barely trickled OB.
Yep. Tricky part about that, too, is his meter still puts him on a pretty severe slope.
Right. And Chris has got the awkward uphill run-up that none of us like, yet he still gets the disc out clean, perfect.
For a second, I thought that was just going to be 1 foot away. Like he was going to go up the wall and just stop right next to it. It was so straight. I've got Firebird. I don't want the wind to get under it too much because there's OB all on the right. I almost get curved here.
Oh, my goodness.
But
I think you did get curbed.
I touched the curb.
You had to have, because that was not a normal concrete skip.
Yeah, I touched the curb. So a good break for me, because I wasn't thinking anything about that curb, obviously. I'm just trying to throw it out there wide. But it got over it and got me back in bounds.
Tanner's just trying to save his 4 here, maybe 20 feet shorter than he'd like. Just didn't quite get that skip off the grass. And
this wasn't your finest moment.
No, I was trying to do the same thing you did and throw it low into the wall, and it just got away from me.
Wind got under it.
Threw it too high, and the wind pushed it OB, and I was...
No.
Oh, gosh. So you're about to see why this is bad.
The problem with this hole, the wall should have marked the out of bounds in some way, because there's like a 3-foot inbound space in between a barbed wire fence and the wall.
That's just a solid putt.
I was happy with that one.
Yeah, that's not... Flat ground, that's a good 25-footer.
Yeah.
Uphill, it feels like it's about 30 feet. But this is the problem here. We get barbed wire, and that wall, and I'm 6'6", and I can still barely keep it over that wall.
With a normal swing.
And into the headwind, that was left side, but it was still enough chains to stick.
Yeah.
Uphill headwind, that didn't have a chance.
So it's a tough design, because you guys sort of got a double penalty there. You're already out of bounds, and then now you're stuck between a fence and a wall. It's just your OB line should have been the wall. So then you move in, you take your penalty, and you have a makeable shot.
I went back and forth in my head between turbo, little tomahawk upside down shot, and then I ended up just going with a straddle putt that I could barely just get it over that wall, but I didn't like being over there and out of bounds.
No.
It was just tricky. I'd rather just go in the woods and play out of it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the barbed wire fence, if only it wouldn't have been there, then I don't think they really would have needed to make that OB.
Right.
Here's a kind of a straightforward hole, but again, barbed wire fence in the woods, just into the rough, OB, and then path on the other side. So it's just a really straight shot.
And that path is getting tighter and tighter by the green, and
yep.
We step up to this one, and we have got a strong headwind, which takes the forehand mid-range play from what I was planning on doing out of the equation.
I did the mortar.
which is the forehand mid-range play. So
it didn't go as far as it usually did, but I don't feel I can throw my driver because I just think it's going to skip past the fence.
Right.
So I was too scared to go Firebird, so I just decided to see if that mid-range could hang on.
And Chris is throwing a shot that I thought was going to hyzer more, but he played that wind well because the wind just batted it down the whole way and never allowed it to hyzer.
Yeah.
What
disc is this?
I threw an FD here. I was torn because I really wasn't planning on throwing into this much headwind, to be honest with you.
But it got back in bounds, and now I think you're going to have a tailwind putt.
Yeah, I got a tailwind putt from just inside the circle, and there are worse things.
Well, up the middle, but didn't quite get the nose angle.
And this is probably the second one from outside 50 feet that I thought he had made.
Yeah.
And it's about 29 feet away here.
Oh, man.
That's not.
And that's just rolling farther and farther into now a headwind putt.
Yeah. 27-foot headwind putt's not what you want for par after not converting your birdie and bogeying the last hole and yada.
That putt I was super happy with. The wind kind of died down for me a little, but I had that direct headwind, and that's a tough distance for me into a ripping wind.
Yeah, you kept the nose up just enough to go over the rim there, and
oh man,
not happy.
No.
Oh, not happy
the
there.
Dreaded 3-putt.
Yep. 4 strokes thrown away in the last 2. I really looked at those 2 holes as birdie in my eyes. And went bogey.
That's rough.
Yeah. Trying to settle myself down here at this point because
still got more golf to play.
Got more golf to play. Got 2 more holes of golf, and I think at that point I realized I'm probably not going to be on Jomez Productions day 2. Took myself out of the running there.
Oh man. Hole 17, pretty straightforward. Just like most of these holes, you got a path in play, but other than that, really nothing.
Yeah, this one probably one of the more boring holes in the course. Really just gets you over to 18, but I still got to get the birdie. And one of the things I do like about it is that little mound in front of the basket does play tricks with you with the depth perception. You really don't know where where the disc is going to be when you get up there.
And you got to think about your angles when you're coming in and skipping too. I was trying to throw it low and keep it under the wind, but I missed my line by a good 20 feet.
Yeah, you did that. You did the first part.
Yeah, I needed to be a lot tighter, but I was worried about it lifting and testing the OB. So I was trying to take that out of play, and I guess I succeeded.
And Chris avoids the OB there with a nice
perfect play.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I thought about going back in there. It's a pretty good option. There's a little better hyzer angle than I had.
Just needs to make a soft skip. Not jump too
soft,
far. Oh, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's the pro backspin.
You going Destroyer?
I am. Another Brinster Destroyer here. One of my favorite runs of the Star Destroyer. They're really nice and stable and pretty reliable for me.
That skip scared me when I saw it from the tee, but it turned out not to be that far.
Yeah, maybe a good little patch of non-grass that I hit there. And
nice run.
Yeah, that looked like that was going in for about no seconds. But you still got a great round and going for you, 10 down.
Yeah, I'm all right. I mean, it was not looking like a birdie. I didn't really want to do anything stupid.
Nothing stupid there. And that felt like that 25-footer felt like a 35-foot headwind putt the way I was putting right there at that point. So
yeah, it feels like a victory.
Yeah, I was happy about that one.
Nice birdies from everybody but me. I'll take a par. And we'll go on to probably one of the signature holes. Definitely the signature green.
Yeah, 18 is I'd say it's the only hole in the course that I could label as somewhat of a tweener if we weren't playing into a raging headwind. Just the distance itself, 550, I feel like is always an awkward distance. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's uphill and there's so much OB near the basket, it makes it certainly a par 4.
Yep.
But it's reachable if you have a big arm and you're not throwing into a massive headwind. Yeah. Unfortunately, we are throwing into a massive headwind, so it does make it a legitimate par 4.
They label it par 3, but the wind we're playing in is not a par 4.
they label it par 3.
Yeah,
okay,
they label it par 3, but it's not playing like one in these conditions.
So I go back to what I said. It's a tweener.
Yeah.
It's definitely a tweener. Threeing this hole right now in this wind is awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So this is going to be flipping over to a kind of a tough spot. He's staying in bounds.
I thought he was going in the water.
Yeah, there is water over there. You can't see it, but that's pretty obstructed from over there.
Yeah.
This was about as good as you could possibly do it into this headwind. You got all of it.
Yeah, that was that felt good to see.
I mean, that's like the biggest looking 400-foot shot ever because that headwind is so strong.
Yeah.
It appears to go 500, but probably only actually went 4 because we're playing into probably 15, 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. And that was
not great.
Just a bit lower than you wanted, but again, with this headwind, keeping it low like that is a smart play. It keeps you still in the mix for your birdie.
Yep, for sure.
Or your par.
Yeah. Not birdie, yeah, I guess, technically. This was a good shot. And it kind of gave me something to think about because I saw how hard he threw it and he was still coming up short.
Right.
So I was trying to convince myself to rip this, even though in the back of my mind I was like, don't throw it in the OB.
Right. Don't mess up your round.
I didn't succeed in ripping it how I wanted. I wanted to throw it hard and get up that hill a little bit.
And flirting a bit with
the
water. You can't quite see it from there, but there is water just on the other side of those trees there.
So here's Tanner going around the outside and not quite making it back in bounds.
And this is where things get really tricky for the group. We had to decide where he crossed out, and we were all on the other side from where his disc was flying, so it was really difficult to gauge exactly where we thought it went.
Yeah, and there was some kind of confusing wording in the rule book. We're trying to decide what's in bounds, what's out of bounds, but we ended up just kind of going benefit to the player, moving him to the only spot that he possibly could have been in bounds and gave him a chance, at least to move up because we couldn't see it. So you kind of have to just go with the benefit to the player.
Right. And you see 5 discs on the green there because there was a provisional play also thrown because we were trying to figure out the rules.
Yeah, because we didn't know what was in bounds for sure until we talked to the director.
So this is the one that he actually went with, and just not exactly the way you want to finish there. He was pretty upset at this point.
Yeah. Tough 6 to swallow there right at the end. Good birdie there.
Yeah, good party.
Yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, we'll call it a party.
Feels like a birdie, yeah.
But it was a party in my mind.
Sure. The 3 there is so good, so.
Yeah, and that's as good as you're going to achieve on that hole unless you throw in some miraculous shots, so.
Yeah, so we got some pretty decent scores. We're off to the races. Ricky had a little bit better than decent, though.
Oh, my goodness.
I think Ricky's pushing 1,100 there.
Yeah, it says 1099. I wouldn't be surprised to see that go up to 1105.
Yep, same.
The wind was picking up there, and he just didn't miss.
Yeah, I heard he just missed 1 putt. I mean, really incredible score. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does today up there on the lead card. And then hopefully on the final day, we'll see some more Germ.
Yeah, patented Big Germ comeback. We'll see if I can bring that back today.
Yeah, well, thank you to Jomez. Thanks to Germ for joining me. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow.